Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm Envy Jitters.
And I am CheerandCosplay.
And it's February, everybody. It's the month of love, and a number of other things that we should actually probably be observing. But for the purposes of for right now, it's the month of love, and we decided to get romantic this time around. So we're watching a bunch of romance and/or pseudo-romantic stuff.
Yeah.
So, this week was Horimiya.
Yeah.
Yes, so many different ways. Hori-san to Miyamura-kun, I guess is the full title, but...
Tall.
Yeah, we'll go with the
Yeah, everyone just calls it Horimiya, though.
It was that was the title of the original manga from like 2007, but then when they rebooted the manga, they just called it Horimiya.
Okay. Well, it's about Hori and Miya. Envy, this was your recommendation, right?
From like a year ago, yeah.
True, yes, we were trying to schedule things a lot more in advance. But yes, I believe last time I asked you for a description, you had a little bit of trouble there, but you've had a week or so. Do you want to take another stab at it? Take us into this a little bit?
I mean, on the surface, it's, your traditional high school romance type anime. You got Hori, who's, a popular girl in school. And then you got Miyamura-kun, he's, the bit of the loner, the bit of the, I don't want to say edgelord, but he's got the tendencies of an edgelord, and they're classmates, but they never really interacted. But then Miyamura, rescues Hori's little brother, and so they meet, and they discover more things about each other, and then from there, he starts going over to her house, and they kind of start forming a budding relationship where... damn well they're going to get together at the end. I mean, it's that kind of show. But I recommended it because at least when I recommended it, the first season had already finished airing. And it was, to me, very refreshing because in a lot of anime shows, you know how it is. They debate and fight with each other over, do I like each other or not? Or will they or will they not be? At least for me, this show was very refreshing because they do establish pretty early on that they like each other and they do get into a relationship at some point. And from there, it's just kind of, the misadventures of them and their friends in high school. And to me, it didn't seem too over the top like a lot of other high school romance anime. So that's why I originally recommended it. Now, obviously, you guys only saw the first 3 episodes, so it didn't get that far yet. But I would recommend it going forward if you were interested.
Personally, I think if you're a fan of the really, really traditional, like, slice of life, romance kind of things, I cannot recommend this at all, because it's way better than that garbage. Just going to say that right out the gate. I very much enjoyed these 3 episodes. And I think that you, Envy, use the word refreshing. You know what? I absolutely feel that, because it's insane for me to see an anime romance with actual real communication. Like, with 2 people who aren't gonna, beat around the bush the entire goddamn show. And I really liked that.
Yeah.
Also, just the general character dynamics, the relationships they have, not even just between our 2 main leads, but also their supporting cast. I really enjoyed it. I you know what? It's like, I don't normally lean towards romance. And I've mentioned before, some comedy's very hit and miss with me when it comes to anime. But you know what? This one strikes just about the right tone. I think there's a couple things I might have an issue with, but overall, I was really enjoying myself here.
Yeah, I think it defied my expectations a lot. Like, I expected purple hair guy to just be like a mean rival or something, but he ended up being Miyamura's friend even. I enjoyed that, and he's funny in his own way. And I really like the 2 main characters and their dynamic. This was an anime that I've wanted to watch for a really long time because I love Miyamura's design. And I just really wanted to cosplay him. And now I want to cosplay him more. He's amazing, and I relate to him so much.
Yeah, he's just you.
Yeah. So I love him. I like Hori a lot too. I think she's fun. And I think they just work really well together. I was worried that there would be no conflict or anything in this anime, but I find that even when there's not much conflict, it's still fun to watch because the characters are really enjoyable, and I just like watching them do things. So even when it's a small thing, like an episode about, say, her forgetting or not knowing what his first name is. It's like really enjoyable to just watch the funny interactions between them. And like Al said, I'm not always the biggest slice of life person either. It all depends on the characters for me. And I feel like this one was so far one of the best that I've seen, because I really did like the dynamics. So I definitely want to watch more of it.
So I've read the manga before watching this, and I like the manga a lot. I think I kind of prefer the manga a bit over the anime, and I'm not really sure if it's more how they dubbed it over, but for some reason it was less cringy in the manga to me. Like, that's my only, like, real gripe with it, was just the fact that I'm just like, ugh. I'm like, I don't like this line. Again, I don't like that line. But otherwise, I really enjoy it. I find it very funny, mostly just because in a lot of the interactions with the characters, I find a lot of the time that usually things that you would find like the hero or the heroine for this kind of show, I find that Hori and Mia kind of do what's not normal for their character to do. Like, Hori's doing a lot of the things that I would find like a more masculine character to do, and Mia's doing a lot more of the things that I would normally see like the feminine counterpart doing. So I find it very fun, and definitely like very interesting to like watch more of those scenes. And I like their friends. I like the bromance that we got going on. It's very, very funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, Hori and Mia are very cute together, and I really do enjoy their dynamic. But yeah, I do think I definitely prefer the manga a bit more.
I do have something to say about the manga and the anime and how it was adapted later on, but I'll save that for the end.
Going off what Cheap said about some of the lines being cringe, the one that really got me was when they were both like, I don't want others to see you like this.
Yes.
That was
Like,
kind of weird.
There was a better way to phrase that. They could have been like, I'm glad you're sharing this secret with me, or like, I'm glad I'm the one that gets to see you like this. Not I don't want the others to know. That felt creepy.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember if that exact line read was in the manga, and it might be, but I'm trying to remember. It might be in there somewhere, like in volume 1.
I think that might have been like one of my few gripes with the show overall was I do enjoy, like you mentioned, the thing about like not knowing the guy's name and like that sort of thing. We should mention that this like whole series, the way it's structured is kind of like not dissimilar to something like Nozaki, where it was like each episode is kind of just a bunch of small individual vignettes kind of stories that it's just sort of like, I mean, you know, have you seen a slice of life? That's basically what all of them are, more or less. But sometimes when they have conflict, it is very funny and it is very like played up as silly, and that is fun. But then there's sometimes where they get a little bit like they have a dramatic scene and it's a little overly dramatic. It's kind of melodrama.
For me, I feel like the characters are a little weirdly possessive of each other. Especially Hori, I think, is like a little bit like, he's mine, and like you can't see him any. I was like kind of glad that Miyamura actually did show the purple hair guy the other side of himself, and like was able to open up to a friend who's not just Hori. But sometimes they feel like possessive of each other in a weird way.
Yeah.
And she like beats him up a lot. I don't know. It's like, what?
Well, that's for comedy.
I feel like that's a trope, I guess.
Well, that's sort of the thing with what I mean with, like, their roles kind of seem reversed. Like, the possessiveness is sort of what you would think of the hero doing more than the heroine in this sort of show. Which I, honestly, like, when you find out what the situation actually was, when it turns out, like, the one girl was just egging her on, but it was kind of like, damn, okay.
Yeah, it's a little much.
Maybe calm down.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm a little like, it feels a little, just a touch manufactured at certain times. Like, I was thinking about that scene a little bit. I was thinking about we're going to confront you in the hallway. I'm the class president and you did something wrong, or and like, why is this so dramatic? Like, we screwed up a little bit of paperwork, people.
There's
This is
some
not-
tonal shifts in there that are a little weird. But...
Like-
so the thing is I think they're picking and choosing scenes because there are some scenes that were in the first volume that were in the first episode, and then we go on to the next episode and there are some scenes from the first volume. But then there are scenes that they didn't do.
Mhm.
Okay, I can explain that. So the first season came out in 2021. It was made by Studio Cloverwork, and they were airing, I shit you not, 3 shows at the same time. And so they were basically tasked with adapting the full 13-volume manga into 13 episodes. So basically what they did was they focused the 13 episodes for this season on strictly the romance. Like the romance between Hori and Miyamura, and then later on some of the romances that happen with some of the side characters. Last year, there was a second season called Horimiya, The Missing Pages, which I actually liked more than the first season. It basically
the title
covered
makes
all
sense
this.
now.
Well,
Yeah.
it covers all the stuff that wasn't adapted in the first season, and it's
Ah.
mainly the wacky shenanigans and the
So-
goofball stuff between the characters.
So I would have preferred more of the wacky shenanigans and less of the melodramatics, mostly because I love the wacky shenanigans a lot more.
I have a question
Yeah.
because we've all seen it now, so
Yes.
I can make this comparison. Would you say Missing Pieces is like Full Metal Panic Fumofu?
Well, I mean,
It's just the
is
goofy
Fumofu-
bits that we cut out
Well,
from the
is-
other part?
Is Fumofu canon?
Yeah.
Okay, then, yeah, I guess so.
All right, we're watching that. We're definitely watching that. I don't know about for the thing, but I'm definitely watching that then.
Well, I'll say this: you definitely want to watch the first season first, because
Oh, absolutely.
there's no
yeah.
there's no continuity to the missing pieces. Like, there's some parts in some of the episodes where you have to like basically almost do like a 3D puzzle, where it's like, okay, where does this scene take place in comparison to the manga? When does this and that? So
Why didn't they
kinda-
just
it's
remake
just-
the whole thing?
I mean, it was probably still popular at the time. It was only like a year or two beforehand.
it was a surprise whenever that they even announced the second season, because the first season was popular, but a lot of people thought that it was rushed, especially those that read the manga. So that's why it was a big surprise when they announced the second season that adapted the rest of the stuff. So
Maybe,
who knows?
maybe the reason, like, they were like, oh, everyone was saying it felt rushed. Well, I guess, we have enough time. We could maybe make this other one.
Well, I think the reason it was so rushed, they're like, we want to do the main story beats and cut out all the fluff. So that way we have the cohesive story done. So we're only going to do that. But it probably did well enough that they're like, oh, well, I guess we can do more. I guess we're putting in all the parts that we didn't do now.
Well, now I'm kind of interested because, like, you guys are saying they cut all the fluff out of this season. So far, these 3 episodes had a good, at least to me, had a decent amount of, like, fluff and silliness.
I'm gonna say a spoiler without a spoiler. Everything that you were criticizing about being melodramatic and being, Hori being possessive, that stuff gets way, I guess, worse in your case towards the back half of the show. Because
Of course it does. It
Hori-
always does.
Well, because I won't say what Hori has, but it's revealed she has something, and
Herpes.
it's played off as a joke, but it's also a real thing that exists in the real world. So
Okay, now I feel
give
bad
her
about
that.
saying herpes.
Do you mean like mental
disorder?
health?
I don't want to spoil it, because if you guys want to watch it,
I want to watch.
I
Don't
do
spoil
wanna
it. Don't-
watch
Don't spoil it.
it,
It's fine.
yeah.
Okay, but she's got some stuff
Yeah,
going on that like may explain certain behaviors. That's
Yes.
fair. I feel like we see that in a number of different things. I've watched a few that were like, it's always the late game main character reveal of yada yada. But okay, so there's that to look forward to, and possibly a comedic spin-off side canon deleted scene section. I do like the idea of that. So, do we want to talk, like, we've kind of been talking a little bit more about plot. Do we want to talk characters a little bit? Who's everybody's favorite? I know.
I already
yours.
said mine.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, I also like Miyamura a lot. He's probably my favorite.
Did they introduce the student council president yet? Because he was my
Yeah.
favorite.
In
Okay.
passing, it felt like we didn't really
They
get. details.
They gave us a little bit of backstory with him, and also, basically, it was the one that was confronting her in the hallway.
Yeah.
That was him.
The redhead guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the dumbest looking haircut.
I don't like
Oh
his
my
voice.
God. Do you know what he
in the
looks
dub.
like? Do you know who he looks like?
dork?
He looks like Rin.
No,
Yes.
the
Free.
teacher looks like Rin. The teacher
They
who...
both look like Rin.
Should we talk for just a second about the teacher
yeah,
making
I
certain
hated the
comments? Like,
teacher.
yeah,
What
you're
was
fired.
going on
He's
What the
fired.
fuck was that?
He's fired, 100%.
Yeah, I wanted to chuck a rock at his head.
You know, maybe
I
that's
could not tell if that was the teacher or if that was another classmate. I was like, I really
That-
hope it's not the teacher.
Oh no, that was a
it's-
teacher.
no,
You know
it's
what?
one of those teachers where they get like a job right out of like college, like 23, 24, 25, and they're
That's still
Still
super
not a-
inappropriate.
Still
no,
not
I'm just-
gonna
Maybe-
comment on a student's breast size.
I might.
No, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I tend to see that a lot in anime where you have a teacher that's really young or really old. Like there's no in between. There's like hardly any 40 to 50-year-old teachers in anime.
I think 40 to 50 usually encompasses old, especially when everyone else is like 14.
Yeah.
But I digress on that. I was thinking like we only saw him in the very beginning of the first episode. I wonder if he did get fired, and like that's why we're not.
I hope
seeing
so.
him anywhere else.
Okay, I'm going to spoil that. No, he's over.
I wasn't expecting him to, but there was a nice little headcanon for a second. Hey, something actually happened to someone who did something bad. But I kind of was enjoying the side. Like, I was probably the person who surprised me the most was, what was his name? Fujiwara? Am I thinking the purple-haired guy? What's his name? I
don't remember his name.
God damn.
I know he's purple hair.
Ishikawa.
Ishikawa, that was it. Yeah. I think there's a couple different times where it's like you're taking like out the gate. This show in the first episode was feeling very like, okay, this is going to be your generic slice of life. But then they take a lot of the tropes and just throw it on their head a little bit. And I liked what they were doing with most of them. Really enjoyed the he's a bro, not a douche.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was great. And like, again, and part of it just comes down to, again, everybody actually communicates. Like, he's like, oh, so you, he's like, oh, you got a crush on her? And like any other anime be like, what? No, nah. I'm going to draw this out for 13 episodes. It's like, yes, I do. I did not expect you to say that out the gate. Oh my God. Let's bond over this moment.
Yeah.
And then they just turns into, what was the redheaded guy from Nozaki? Oh, you know who I'm talking about. Come on.
Mikuri?
Mikurin, yeah. No, he kind of
Yeah.
turned into him a little bit. And I was like, you know what? He was one of my favorites too. That's just good stuff. Like, everyone is just like, the second you think you've figured someone out, nope, we're gonna throw another twist at you there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I liked is that, yeah, I mean, obviously, they both liked Tori at the beginning, but it's like he's not going to not be friends with him just because they like the same girl. They're not going to let it drag out because, that can happen in real life. You can have a crush on somebody and someone else can, but you just have to move on. I mean, that's just kind of the way life works.
Which, weirdly enough, to some degree, I almost feel like makes it a touch more realistic in a way, because I've definitely like known and been friends with people who we both had the same interest in someone, but we were like, hey, let's be realistic here. Neither of us has a chance. So, like, are we going to fight about this? We're not going to fight about this.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Would have been interesting to actually see if I had gotten into a fight, because it might have, like, turned out bad for me like it did for Purple Hair Guy. Who would have thought, like, okay, Miyamura's definitely got, like, some sort of, like, he's got some anger issues somewhere. Like, I'm sure there's more, like, backstory and more, like, character development and reveals.
I
of
think
certain
he
things
has trauma.
I imagine so, because I'm, like, looking at a couple things. I'm like, okay, there's some trauma responses here. But you've also, like, sort of taken that and put it into a less destructive way of dealing with it. With,
He's
like,
got the long hair, the tattoos, and the piercings.
but I'm
That's
kind of
like- that's
wondering if some of that came from, hey, this is a better alternative than what my other thought would be to
He
do.
just needed the bleached blonde hair, and he would have had like the ultimate bad boy delinquent trope.
And yet he wants to be Clark Kent at school.
I think it's
Yeah.
more because he won't get in trouble.
Yeah, it's,
Because,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
because their dress codes are very strict over in Japan, and what we see with all of the dyed hair, and because all the time for, like, official pictures, they have to dye it back. So he's like, I'll just skip that step and just, do the things that people can't really see.
yeah.
And apparently in Japan, a lot of public baths won't let you in if you have a lot of tattoos, so
Mm.
they consider that like a big faux
Yeah.
pas over there.
I mean, think of it this way. It's kind of like how America was, like, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
So,
no.
They still kind of are.
Well, depends on where you are in, like, the business itself.
I'm trying to think here of some of the other people we got to meet. We got to meet Hori's friend, who is just kind of there. I don't know that she's contributed a lot yet, though I'd imagine at some point she will. I'm just going to call it that Blondie and Purple guy are going to get together.
I mean, they're on the cover of the same book, so probably.
There you go.
The thing that always bothered me with her watching throughout the entire show is that how did she always write? How did she eat? How did she move her hands when she always has her hands in her sleeves?
Yep, same
Excuse
complaint.
you. Same.
Sweater paws for life.
Yes.
Nah, not into that. It's getting in the way of things.
I mean, we can't really help it when the length of the clothes that are meant for the sizes of our torsos, the sleeves are way too long.
Okay, I can understand you for sure. I don't know. We got a little bit of the student council. They seem just incompetent.
Especially Pinky.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, she's more of a mascot, as they say.
Yeah, Remy. Good old Remy.
I hate Remy.
I kind of hate any person who out the gate starts referring to themselves in the third person. Which, weirdly enough, like, and I don't know if I'm talking out of my ass here, but it almost felt a little bit, especially like between like some of those character elements and the kind of melodramatic nature of it. This almost feels like it should have been set a little bit like in a middle school, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a little off base there.
Can you explain that? What do you mean? Like a little more?
Like, some of the situations I mentioned were, your reactions are a lot bigger for this kind of small issue.
High schoolers are dramatic.
Not as dramatic
Oh,
as middle
yes.
school people.
I'm
No.
just saying, I buy it.
Oh, no. High
I was not this
schoolers are
dramatic.
very dramatic. Like,
Yep.
you've heard my stories about high school.
I
Yeah.
have. Yeah, true. That was not my experience. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I wonder, like, because the one I come back to is we're going to confront you in the hall about, hey, we misplaced paperwork. This is going to be a big thing where people are going to cry. I'm like, is it like
I think the club responsibilities are also like really important, you know?
Yeah, like I know
Yeah.
that's a thing. I'm just like, I feel like I'm just missing some level of context as to why this is such a
Like,
big deal.
it's
'cause-
like you're hurting the group, which is like a big
Yeah.
problem,
Yeah,
you
okay.
know? They care more
It
about the
is-
group, you know?
yeah.
It's also very much Japan's work like mindset, where it's like more of a collectivist
Yeah.
work style
Okay.
rather than an individualist one like we have here. Also, that whole scene, I'm like, yeah, that is something that actually did sort of happen to me in middle school. So that is the one scene where I'm just like, this feels a little bit much.
Yeah. So like, I've been in organizations and different clubs and stuff, and I've had moments where I fucked up. It was literally just like, oh hey, this fucked up. Like, let's just go fix it real quick. It's whatever.
Well, no, it's literally someone else sabotaged me, so I don't have my thing. So I'm like, this is definitely something that is similar to what I've experienced,
Oh,
but
dear.
not in high school.
Yeah, people are dicks in middle school.
As someone who's seen a lot of anime the last couple of years, I've seen way worse interactions for far less.
Yeah, true. It just felt a little out of place for what otherwise was starting to feel a lot more like a realistic sort of portrayal of interpersonal relationships, I guess.
I mean, to be fair, it didn't go the way that a lot of, like, high school drama romances go with the bullying.
Oh, you don't headbutt someone and then say, hey, here's the missing piece?
No, it's not that. It's more the fact that basically the girls will essentially, like, sort of torture the main character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of those things in, like, shoujo romance manga sometimes where, like, the main character just, like, gets heinously bullied. Like, really aggressively.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I know this shit happens, but what the fuck?
I might be a little, like, unclear, but, like, are you saying Hori would have been bullying Mia?
No.
Or, like, what?
No, like the student council.
Ah.
When they were confronting her in the hallway, it's almost like, I don't know, for me it was sort of like they were kind of hazing her a little bit, bullying her, like drawing out the whole situation in front of everyone instead of just pulling her aside and being like, hey, what happened? I feel it was unnecessary.
I'm wondering why anyone else cared.
Because it's dramatic. And high schoolers are little shits, and they'll all gather in the hallway when they're seeing a fight.
Was it a fight? It wasn't a fight until the first headbutt.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Eh.
Like when people are like, yeah, we're going to beat each other up, and they start beating each other up in the hallway, and everyone just gather around to watch the chaos.
Okay, well, I would watch a fist fight, 100%.
Again, people are just gathering around to watch the chaos.
No, I've seen high school. When in high school, I've seen people go out into a hall over like a screaming match. It wasn't even a fist fight, so yeah, I totally buy that.
I hear you guys. I do. This didn't feel like that at all. Everyone was very calm in the situation. They're like, you lost the report. I didn't lose the report. But we think you lost the report.
But you said it was dramatic.
She was about ready to cry.
It just,
like,
it felt like it was, it felt like the most mundane conversation that was shot like it was so dramatic. Like, it was more in, like, I guess the editing or something of the whole scene, but it was like, this is the most mundane thing. Why are we here right now?
Because, I don't know, people are dramatic and wanted to confront people about it in public.
It's an anime.
It was like filming a chair, but in the style of Michael Bay. This chair is doing nothing, but we will make it the most epic looking chair of all time. That's probably a bad example, but I don't know. We have a parent that's actually present.
She exists.
Yep.
Kind of. I mean, she's busy, but she exists.
Yeah. Is the dad a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
He works even more.
Well,
or he's horrible.
Okay, did you guys watch this subbed or dubbed?
We watched it dubbed.
Dub.
Okay, well, I didn't watch the dub. I watched the sub, and the sub, the dad is voiced by the guy who voiced Junro in Stardust Crusaders, so that's all I hear.
Well, I mean, he wasn't in the first 3 episodes.
Does that make him a good guy, a bad guy? I don't know what's going on. Or is he big time comic relief?
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to look forward to this.
Okay.
I feel like, you know what? It's like a weird kind of like comparison that I was thinking about. And this is for like, mostly for you and me because we watch these shows. But like, because what I was mentioning earlier was like, this is kind of like Nozaki, which is another romance comedy that I enjoy. And I was like, if we were comparing like, but like, it's not the same thing. It's not the exact same kind of like humor all the time, even if it's a little bit similar. It's like, Nozaki is like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, weird and over the top. And then this one's kind of like Jane the Virgin. Still weird and over the top, but almost in a more realistic sense.
I don't know, man.
I know, it's probably a terrible comparison.
That's a terrible
but I'm just like,
comparison.
I'm just talking about comedies that I enjoy.
One is like a
That is a
telenovela.
really weird comparison.
Yeah, well, you know what?
But
I
kind of see it.
Yeah, right? Like, just like in how crazy are we going to be in a moment kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe I just want to rewatch some old shows.
Yeah, those were
That
good
could be an
shows.
Who knows?
Can we do Crazy Ex-Girlfriend for the podcast?
You know, it is basically an anime.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We've been
You can't say
rewatching
that
it.
about every show, but I just like that show and want to watch it.
It's good.
We'll put under consideration. Not if you're recommending it, but you know, we all know-
Maybe next year.
maybe. Let me think here. What else should we be talking about here? I feel like we covered like the majority of like main points. Did anyone have any like other sticking points for them about this show?
Again, I think for me, this is a romantic comedy for me. And I guess without all the funny moments, it became a romantic drama. So I was very thrown off by the opening. I'm like, this feels very,
Oh.
very
The opening
sad.
was weird, yeah.
For what I think is a romantic comedy. And then I'm like, where are my funny bits?
I
It was dramatic, yeah.
What
I'm
was...
sad.
I felt like the most out-of-place shot was that photorealistic desk at the beginning. And I don't know what it was about the rest of it. I thought I was about, like, it was the opening for a supernatural, like, ghost anime or something.
Okay,
A little bit.
Like,
Honestly,
so it wasn't just me?
It felt like a more of, like, a high school romance drama that was going to be way more serious
Yeah.
than I think what the show ends up turning out to be.
Yeah.
But that could just be because they took all of the more serious moments from the manga and were just like, okay, slap it all together.
True.
Oh, you know
I was
what?
like, what's in the box? That box that he has? Like, I'm curious about it.
I think I missed the box. What
You
box
missed
are you
the
talking
box?
about?
Oh my
In-
god,
in the
he had
opening,
it like
he
three
bends
times.
down to pick up this little box near
Oh,
the
the little
flowers.
cube.
Yeah, he's got a little
Yeah,
cube.
that's what kind of gave me vibes of like, okay, there's some
It's a
weird
mystery.
supernatural thing because it wasn't a box like you put something in. It felt like it was some sort of like cute.
It's a
like,
puzzle
I was about
box.
To, I was about to call it the
It's-
Tesseract, but I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, it's like the little prison that they put Gojo in.
It's gonna send him
Jutsu.
to
I'm
Hellraiser.
not there,
I don't
but-
know. Like,
Yeah. Oh, if this turns into
This
Hellraiser,
is
you know
turning
what?
into Hellraiser.
Nothing for nothing. It subverted a lot of my expectations out the gate. That would be a huge subversion of my expectations.
It would be. It would
So-
be. Okay, so I have one complaint that before I watched the show turned me off from watching the show that I heard a spoiler for the future. I don't know if I can talk about it.
Do I need
Or
do I wanna
ask
hear
about
this?
it.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I mean, you could ask me off.
I can
the chat
ask
if
you
you
off.
want.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
like I was so like always wanting to watch this show and then I was spoiled on this one thing and I got angry and never watched it. Now I'm going to watch the whole thing because I'm invested and I like it. But man, it turned me off.
They were all lizard people. weren't
I'm
they?
very curious
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I'm very curious too. Yeah, you gotta
it's
message
something
me off the chat.
purely like just stupid, but I was mad.
Was
about
it the teacher
I
saying,
want to know.
"Don't worry,
Okay,
I like
you're-
flat-chested girls"?
It was completely dumb. It's not even really a spoiler.
Okay,
But it
if it's not
kind
a
of
spoiler,
is.
then
It-
say
I don't know how
what
much
it is.
it's kind of a spoiler, but not.
Text Envy what it is real quick. He'll tell me whether it's a spoiler or not, and then we'll figure it out. Meanwhile,
Okay, I'll
Um,
message it to Envy.
yeah, you guys do that. Meanwhile, what else is there to talk? Did anyone else have a thing?
Did you guys like the animation overall?
Yeah, it's cute.
Animation
Yeah,
was
it's
great.
nice. I
I
think
liked-
there-
Yeah.
I feel like it was kind of fast-paced.
like
Like, after the first episode, I was like, did I... Because I watched it in a kind of sketchy place. I'm like, was that one episode, or did I just watch, like, a supercut?
So the thing is like a lot of the chapters are really short in the manga.
Yeah.
So they're
That's what
gonna
I
go
figured.
by really fast.
yeah, I think
Oh,
that
yeah,
first.
yeah, that's a spoiler.
It's a spoiler. Okay, never mind.
all right.
Maybe it makes sense. Like, I just want to know: does it make sense for the plot? Is it like a good thing?
That depends on your point of view.
Okay,
You're probably
so I
gonna
just
hate it.
have to see. I just had to see. Okay.
So, like, yeah, I think with the first episode, it did feel a little bit slower, maybe like a little bit more of a complete story, because I think they were doing a lot more of establishing the setting, the characters, and all that sort of stuff, and getting that all together. So that feels like one cohesive like thing. And every other episode kind of feels almost like we have an A episode, a B episode, a C episode sometimes, because they're all a little bit broken up, and it's like these are little snippets of what's going on, as opposed to like we need a narrative for the entire episode kind of thing, which gets you a little more in the slice of life area. I think I'd imagine probably later on we probably get a couple episodes that have more of a we're gonna have a plot from beginning to end of episode, because usually around like what episode 10 things start getting dramatic, if I'm remembering how just generally these shows go. But it could subvert my expectations again.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to stay goofy till the end. Well, it's not goofy yet. We get the goofy when we get the Fumofu. But that's just my shorthand for any, like, goofy side, like, spin-off show. I don't know. I'm definitely going to be interested to see that. But does anyone have any other things to talk about here? I'm gonna take the resounding silence as a no, but
Yeah, I'm good.
okay. Well,
Before we move on to next week, though, this is kind of unrelated, but
right.
the day that we're recording this, we found out that we lost another legend in Hollywood, Mr. Carl Weathers,
yeah.
aka
Oh no.
aka Apollo Creed and Grief Karga and
Yeah,
Dylan from The Predator. So
Oh.
that's a shame.
yeah, so I mean, you could say any of those roles are basically anime. There
Yeah.
was a boxing
They're
anime, right?
iconic.
There was
Just-
stuff that
I think
takes
played
place in
himself
the
in
jungle.
Arrested Development.
Yeah,
That was always a good role.
he did.
Yeah, that's a shame. Well, I think we should probably say real quick. I'm a yay here. I'm probably going to watch the rest of this, and if it gets sillier as it keeps going, it's going to be way up more in my alley.
Yeah, I'm definitely a yay. I'm absolutely gonna watch the rest of this.
I'm a light yay. I might watch some more of this, but I think I'll preferably continue on with the manga instead.
I mean, as someone who watched,
You
both
recommended it. Do you
seasons
hate
already,
it?
Clearly, I will
Hey,
say
that's
though,
a valid
on Mal,
opinion.
I gave this first season an 8, and the missing pieces a 9. So take that for what it's
Okay.
worth.
Cece, what did you say?
That's a valid opinion to recommend something but also hate it. Just because you want to make everyone
That's
else
what
suffer.
you did.
Yeah, and you know what
I know.
happened? You know what happened? You lost your recommendation privileges. You're still on probation for that. So
Worth it.
I will
Oh,
pedo
it haunts
pita
my
pita
dreams.
papita upside your head.
Cece, opinions?
Excuse me, I really liked this. I thought it was cute. I'm probably gonna watch more if I find a less sketchy place to watch it.
Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Not paying for Crunchyroll. I'm mad they took all their free stuff down.
They started as a
Wow.
pirate site. They're going to continue as a pirate site. Yeah, okay. So why don't we talk rest of the month? We kind of mentioned last week we're doing a couple different romancy things. We got a couple things from a couple different people's recommendations and stuff. So next week is From Me to You, or what was it called? Kimi no Toto Tibet. What was the other?
Well, if you stop talking, I'll say it.
Sorry.
Kimi ni Todoke. It's
Kimi no Todoke.
yeah. Basically, girl from the ring gets a crush on a boy, and they start hanging out.
Oh my god!
The fuck? Why did you not describe it as that before? I'm
Well,
100% in
she's-
now.
The thing is like everyone thinks she looks like the girl from the ring, but she's really just quiet and depressed.
Oh, so it's not a
sad
horror.
looking.
Okay.
I was
Not
about
a
to.
horror.
I was about to be like, "What the hell?" Apparently, that is a comic book series where Samara from The Ring, like, it's a whole comic book about her and like what she does
Yeah.
after the TV. Eventually, like the later ones, she's a YouTuber.
Ah.
Like, what the?
Yeah.
You know what? I got to pick it
Yeah.
up sometime. But yeah, that sounds fun. After that, we're doing Princess Jellyfish. Whose recommendation was that? Or was that just everyone's recommendation? Because I've heard from a couple different
I
people
think
here
a
that
bunch
they
of
like
us like it, but it was technically Kozi's, but I'm pretty sure a bunch of
Yeah.
us enjoy it.
it. Okay.
Yeah, I
and-
like the manga.
She's not here to claim it, though.
Well,
I'll claim it in her stead.
yes. Ye who smelt it dealt it. And finally, Naruko, the Crawling with Love, the Lovecraft horror
Yes.
dating harem show that I'm going to recommend. And hey, who knows? I might lose my recommendation privileges. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so come back next time for the Ring dating show, or one more time for posterity's sake. What's it called?
Kimi ni Todoke.
Kimi ni Todoke. I will. Hey, I think I actually got that time. All right, we'll see if I can do it again next week. And you guys come back for that. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!